Hello and welcome to the Climate Lexeme Week, where we're gonna edit on Wikidata all about lexemes, and the topic is climate change. In this little short launch, I will sort of talk about what to do, how to do it, and what to expect, and where to get help. And talking about getting help, you feel free to chat in here, and I'll try to answer right away if there's something that's really generic and could be useful for everyone. And then there's going to be Q&As coming up in the following days, but more on that later. Let's get into what is the climate change or Climate Lexeme Week. So it's a themed week on Wikidata, and it's not a competition, it's not a challenge, there's no prizes to win. This is a collaboration effort to help each other get the content as good as possible. And by focusing on one topic, we can probably help each other by being in the same mindset for a short while. So this is a week long. And this is part of a wider thing. It's a part of the 30 lexic-o-days, which goes on from 15 March to the 14th of April. Whereas this Lexeme Week is starting today on Monday and ends on Sunday, the 11th. So a little bit shorter. And let me share my screen here and we'll see. So here is the overview page, the project page, so to say, for the week. And we also set up a few shortcuts you can see here, and I'm going to bring them up on screen so that you easily can find this. So the shortcut on Wikidata is WD:CLW for Climate Lexeme Week. Or you can go with WWiki37 Z and capital T to find it. And that will bring you to this very page. And as I said, it's part of the lexic-o-days, which have lots of different events in it. So this is just one of the things happening. And from here, there's also a good amount of general information of how to edit lexemes, but I'm going to show you a little bit of that. But first, I'm going to explain the idea with this. So I said it's a themed week, and how I got to from being a themed week and thinking about the climate to something specifically on lexemes. It actually started with an article on English Wikipedia, which is called the Glossary of Climate Change, which is not the very most common types of articles that we have on English Wikipedia, but we have some glossaries, and they look like this. This is basically a definition of what these are, and they have been defined as being important for the topic. So I was thinking, how can we make this into something for the lexemes? So I used the tool linked items from Magnus Manske, and then I removed some of them that are not proper lexemes, and I got this list of 195 items in the main namespace on Wikidata. So my idea was we should try to make lexemes that links to these items through item for this sense, which is property 5137. I believe I have this here. Yes, item for this is sense 5137, because that makes it possible to connect them all and also to track it. And it might be the case that for some languages, not all of these are suitable to be lexemes. I am not sure about that. So you should, if you're uncertain, try to ask someone more experienced in that language, because it takes some sort of linguistic knowledge as well. So, and there some of them are proper nouns, most of them are nouns. There might be a few verbs and possibly even some adjectives. But I think there's mostly going to be nouns and proper nouns in here. And what we want to do is first try to get all of these 195 just having a lexeme in your language or languages if you are editing in several. And so first create the lexemes and then also add the items for the sense. So we can actually keep track of them. And we have a link here for recent changes on these. I just saw now I duplicated on the page. But we don't stop there by just adding because that's just the first part. Then we also want to add the forms and all the other sort of statements and pronunciations that we couldn't. So we want to make them as usable as possible in all the aspects. And I'm just going to take a look because through these recent changes, I just saw one of them. And that was edited in the recent days. So here's the bookmark lexeme for weather. And you can see it has grammatical gender, some inflection class, a homograph lexeme. And here's the sense with the item for the sense. This is the main one we want to do. Oh, and we also saw here in the lexical category and the language, of course. And then forms, which can have other statements on them, like the IPA transcription. And here is also even like the pronunciation variety. So this is a fairly good one. It's by no means complete, but it's already quite usable. And if we can get to this state of them all, that would be fantastic, just for a starter. So how do we do that? There's a lot of documentation, and I've linked to it from this page. Check out the documentation. And the short link is also just wd:/ld, which will take you to the lexicographical data main page. And from there, you will find the documentation. So I'll just click through here and show you how it looks like, because there are a few things there's worth noting that could be very helpful. It talks a little bit about the data model, and that's quite good to take a look at in the beginning, because some of the placements of the statements, because you can put statements both like on the root of the lexeme, on the sense, and also on the different forms. So take a look here to see which ones goes where. It might not be totally obvious at the start, but after you're getting a hang of it, you get a sense for like, yes, I know where to put this. And there's also this very nice image here, which sort of show you this. Here in the top, you have the sort of the root, and then what goes on the forms, and then on the senses. Now I just wish we should swap these around, because in the UI on Wikidata, in the interface there are actually, the forms are below the senses. So we should remake this image. I just noticed that. Didn't think of that before. And then there are also a few example words here by some languages, so that you can see how can a lexeme look like. So that's a very good start for just getting started with editing. But there's also another great tool if you want to start a lexeme from scratch. So yes, and here's the first thing. Before you add something new, first check if there's already something existed. Chances are that someone already started something. So try to search here. And it's a bit hard to search for lexemes, but the trick is to go with L:/ first. Maybe I need to zoom in a little bit to show that even better. So here I'll start with L colon, and then I'll try, let's go with the Swedish for weather that we saw the bookmål first. And then I'll actually get it here. And if I didn't, I would get the item for weather. And we'll just click through here and see if it's already linked. And it is. So this one is at least started and will show up in the queries when we do this. So first, check. And if your search turns up with something that doesn't exist, let me see if I can go back and try something that I don't think exists from our list. I'll try this one. I don't think we have one for eco-tax. So let's just see if that exists, eco-tax. No. Now you see I have a script underneath here. I should really show that in. But what this script does, which you can base your languages, is it actually gives you a link to the Lexeme forms. And I'm going to bring that tool up because that tool is so good when you're starting a new Lexeme from scratch. So you have all the languages that it exists in for now, and the different lexical categories that have forms set up. And I'm just going to click on one of these to show you how it could look like. You need to authorize. Yes, I would allow this. And then it gives you this kind of form and where the word should go in, and you see how it will be deflected or inflected. Here I show my novice in being a linguist because I don't know which is which. But either way, even if you're not a linguist, with the help of this form, you can easily fill this out, at least for your native languages. So it might be very useful. And then you just click anläggen, which I guess is create or edit or something like that. And it will create it for you and bring you to that item so that you can, or that Lexeme, so that you can continue edit on it. So this tool, I think, is going to help you a lot for all the things that you that doesn't already have an Lexeme for you to improve. Yes. So this one might be very handy for you. And what else did I want to show? Yes. So during this week, tomorrow in the evening, it's going to be at 5 o'clock UTC. I'm going to have on Jitsi just a Q&A. You can drop in and ask any questions you have, or just sit together for a while and edit together. And I'm going to do another one on Friday. And then on Sunday, we'll do some sort of a closing live stream like this one. There's also a Telegram chat for lexicographical data, and everyone there is very helpful. And if you have any questions on like, how should I do this with the form, or how should I add this statement to make it follow the data model that we would like, people are very helpful there. And then just for some funsies, I've added a few sort of queries in the bottom so that we can see all the lexemes that have these items as senses in all languages. And through that, we can follow how we go. And I also set up a page here with a Listeria bot, so we can see where we are starting at. And I believe this one, last time it ran, we had 52 of them. So hopefully by the end of this week, we will have 195. So that there is at least one language that has all of, or has, for all of the languages, at least one of them links to one of these lexemes. And then the other one is sort of the friendly competition. Like, it's not really a competition, but if you have some sort of language rival, so to speak, here's the top list right now. So English is in the lead with 32. and Hebrew in 27, and Swedish in 20. And you can see here how much you need to edit to pass. Hopefully, we'll have a few of them with a 195 in the end of the week. It might turn out, it's not possible, it might turn out that someone in my list is not actually suitable for lexemes. Please help me highlight that so we can remove them, and maybe we have fewer things to do. I know there's a few very generic ones that showed up, like rice and water, which might not necessarily have something to do directly with the climate, but indirectly it has both causes and effects. So yes, so here's the top list, and I talked about it earlier as well. There's this tool that shows the recent changes on lexemes. So this one shows the last week. Yes, so by the end of the week, hopefully we will see everything in here. And for now, we have, a few days ago, it was last edited. And you can see, you can follow this. And of course, as with everything with Wikidata, it is always a rabbit hole. So I expect people will go down the drain and also edit the items themselves, because I'm pretty sure they need some improvement as well. So we have the recent changes for that here as well. And yes. And I guess that's sort of it for now. Like, this is just a short little launch to get you started and know what to do. And you can reach me on Wiki. I'm user Ainali. You can use this discussion page to ask questions. You can go to the Telegram chat. I'm in there, and other people as well, if you have any questions. And you can also reach out on where this video is published on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and ask questions. So I hope you will have fun editing during the Climate Lexeme week, and we'll keep in touch. And on Sunday, I'll be back trying to wrapping it up, even when there will technically be a few hours left to edit. But maybe that will get you into the final sprint and see the statistics as of that time. With that, thank you and goodbye.